it's still been very different with the ups and downs. I think a lot has changed within the industry itself. There are a lot more places that are closing, that have closed in the last, I'd say, there's a lot more places that have closed in the last 2 months than have in the last total 9 months, or let's say 10 months. There's a lot more that are closing fast at a faster pace now. I think just the after effects of COVID have hit people having to open and close again, open and close, especially with alcohol, you can imagine. But there's also a lot more places coming up. So places are closing, places are opening, and they maybe there's a lot more smaller entities that are opening at a faster rate now. So it's been a weird one. Different types of businesses opening within the industry. So more takeaway and delivery options, or just smaller places that have let's say most of their percentage of turnover being delivery or pickup. I'd definitely say the curfew. So if you think about it, when everything was until the curfew was until 10 o'clock, it's a massive difference between 10 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Because if you look at the time before COVID, people didn't go and eat dinner at a restaurant at 6 o'clock or 6:30. It was literally 7, 7. That people even book at 8 o'clock, and if people didn't book, they'd walk in at 8 o'clock. So 9 o'clock is quite hectic for a sit-down restaurant because they're having to close up by 7:30 and be ready. So I think that it's a curfew, and then obviously if you're a restaurant on something like Florida Road or McCurtain or in a busy restaurant street, if you're selling alcohol at your premises, automatically 50% or 60-70% of your business is alcohol, and if that's shut off, it's so tough, Sure, it's a difficult one to answer, to be honest, because we're on Florida, so I'm just going to tell you the answer from, let's say, a Florida Road perspective. Majority of the food industry businesses have closed on Florida. Especially within the last month. Especially within the last month or two, majority of, even the big names, it doesn't matter if you're big or small, they closed for at least, they're either closed now or they've already been closed since. You can name all of them on Florida. The majority of them have either closed or have closed before or are closed now. Yeah. So specifically with us, we're okay because we do delivery only. So level 4 already is delivery only. It's not pick up or sit down. It's delivery only. So we have a bit of a backing foot there. But with regards to the rest of the guys, you can imagine there's only a small minority that do delivery only. So yeah, it's a big one. But I think what's cutting the guys mostly is this thing of stopping and starting. That's more damaging than just stopping for a longer period or whatever. Guys have just suddenly rebuilt and got their alcohol sales and their turnover going, and then all of a sudden within a day, everything's your alcohol shut, your curfew's an hour earlier, and it's just that stopping and starting, that momentum getting going, and then it's demotivating. It's everything in one. It's so hard. They make it so difficult for you. That's the type of things that we need to be asking. Where is any type of funding for? I mean, we're not the only industry that's affected by this, but we are one of the biggest that have been over the longer period of the COVID. You can imagine the nightclub owners. They haven't really opened at all. They should at least get some type of subsidy on the rent or levy fees or whatever. There's absolutely nothing. I think. What makes it what's adding to the headache for restaurant owners, I'm talking about restaurant owners, is they're having to communicate and get those tour things back, and they take so long. It's 3 months worth of time to get 1 month's worth of pay for their staff. So it's just an added headache. That's what it really is. And the excuse always is using COVID. It's saying, okay, COVID's here, our computers are down, or we've got limited staff. And I mean, let's be real. They're literally making it so difficult for people to there's no government funding. There's no such thing as that in the industry. This is a year of just keeping composure. It's not about overspending, taking these big risks. This is the year, the 1 year specifically, that you just need to hold on. I feel. So I'm not holding on. I'm going through the motions. I'm getting by when it comes to business. Yeah, it's about getting through. If more people are closing and you're just getting through, you one up on the others. So it's literally about keeping focused, your mind right, and your head in the game, and knowing being prepared for taking hits, being prepared for things now. There's no like, okay, it's gonna be fun now, so let's just let it go. Let's things get easy, when the government could come next week and have lockdown level 4. You know what I mean? There's no like, you can't open yourself up this year. You can't open yourself up this year. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. You've got to imagine a scale, and you've got people and you've got jobs, and jobs are just getting less and less and less and less and less, and the people are just rising. So since what was it, May? In the beginning of the first lockdowns, I had people just about every day asking for a job, be it on email, every day, being it on email, walking into the store. Sometimes multiple people on one day. But the job availability has shrunk. But now the level of people that are willing to work for something for less pay, or whatever you want to call it, is so much bigger. So that's why it's affecting, especially my industry, a lot, because there's more people that are willing to work for less pay. So it's making it difficult for people like managers and like head chefs and things like that, because there's people that are willing to work for less now. Really, like the Hilton closed. I mean, if the Hilton's closing, let's be real. Like, I've got a mate that's the head executive chef of the Capital in Mhlanga. Like, can you imagine going from like that type of salary to nothing? We've had to cancel sit-down orders all in all since the 1st of Jan. So we only do delivery and pickup. It makes things a little bit easier, to be honest. But also when we have like allocated 1.5 meter space dividers for when people do come and wait for pizza for the pickup. We've obviously got the touch foot, like the foot sanitizer, and then we've got a shit ton of sanitizer in the store that we have to spray down. What else? We actually have to wear gloves now. Yeah, so and then obviously the masks wearing in the store, which you can imagine with the pizza oven, it's just, you can't breathe. It's literally ridiculous. But I think the money factor is a big thing. Even something like that, within any type of industry that by law has to buy these certain products now, should be subsidized. They should be next to nothing, or they should be really cheap, or they should be free from the government if it's imperative that you have to buy them, because some people didn't have that money stashed behind them to just lay out for those things. Can you imagine 100-seater restaurants? I mean, 100-seater restaurants has to have, every waiter needs to have a sanitizer. Can you imagine the amount of sanitizer that's being used every day? It's the money factor for business is just, it's ridiculous. I'm not even talking specifically restaurant industry. I'm talking about every industry that, think about mini factories that have to have 300 people a day at the factory. That's massive loads of money coming out from the business, It's just been so long now that I'm getting to the stage personally where I'm getting over talking about it. I'm getting bored of like having to think so much about what to do next, It's because I've been doing that for 9-10 months. It's just like, all I know is that like if we go to level 4, we safe with permits. If we need, we able to only do delivery. So we've got that cushion, I guess. yeah, we can go to level 4. We'll be okay.